Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 17, and welcome back to the Western Shore. It is day 3 of winter. Man, this community, I love you. I would not have thought there was this much activity to keep me going through winter, but there certainly is. There certainly is. So we are down at the Compost Master. I remembered we had almost 100,000 liters of compost down here. We're down to 4,000 liters now. It made sense. Let's get this out of here so that first cut, if we want to, we don't have to, but first cut, we can now dump grass in here and have a place for it to come out. If this was still at 100,000 liters, there would be no place for it to dump. Did I say 100,000 before? Or did I say 100? 100,000. 100,000, yeah. So I have, let me see. I bought this Broen trailer because our Larrington is only for silage. Our west is only for crops. We didn't have anything that would hold manure and compost, so I bought this. We're going to be moving a lot of manure and compost, particularly as our dairy grows, and then of course with this compost master down here. So I went ahead and bought this thing. I also bought this spreader. These are both full right now. The Broen is almost 30,000 liters, I believe, and this is like 14,000. So I already took one load of compost up to our newly converted arable fields. We're going to take a second load of compost up. Then we're going to park up this Broen trailer, come back, grab this Abbey, do at least one load with this to see what kind of coverage we get in our new fields with the smaller spreader. Then we're going to hop in our JCB and go down and pick up our new Lemken cultivator, and on the way we're going to get our forge started with our Lemken plow. So it's kind of a busy day. We'll see how it goes. It is a beautiful foggy morning on the Western Shore. Really liking the Sky Swap mod. Really liking a lot of things about this map and about 17. And it's nice playing 17 and 19 side by side again. 19, it's not a perfect game, but it's not bad. And 17, as much as we love it, it's not a perfect game either. And I can certainly see why they made some of the changes that they did as they moved toward 19. But I don't know. 19 it's moving in a direction that is curious to me, whereas 17 seems like it's more in line with our goals as sim farmers. Could just be the mods, though. Could be. I also noticed, now this came about from playing another game. This came about from playing Train Sim World, and I'm probably going to do a video about this, but on some of the German routes, there are 3 systems. There is the CIFA, the PZB, or PZB, and the AFB. When you combine those 3 systems, it makes the German locos a lot harder to control. It is apparently much more realistic because German railroads are just layered with safety systems. But I also noticed the trains go a lot slower than when you play without them. I've always played without them, and I guess it's the same. It would be comparable. It would be analogous to playing a racing simulator and using the automatic transmission mode. You can, but you know, if you're trying to play hardcore, trying to play realistically, you wouldn't. Well, I wasn't using those safety systems on those German rail routes, and as I added them, I noticed the trains went a lot slower. There are a lot of places where, particularly with freight, you can't do that. And all I was ever really concerned about was staying under the speed limit and getting things delivered as quickly as possible. Well, in real life, apparently, speed is not a priority, and rather safety is. So the trains go much slower, but you know what? It looks and feels better. It looks and feels more realistic. And I realized that in Farm Sim, there's a point to all this. There always is. Or, well, there normally is. In Farm Sim, I tend to drive, not recklessly, but I tend to drive, I don't know, like you would drive a car. And that is not accurate or realistic. Tractors, particularly heavily loaded tractors, are going to move a lot more slowly and a lot more carefully. Things like level crossings, these gates, you know, all this stuff. So seeing the trains moving so slowly in Train Sim has really kind of made me aware of how unnecessarily fast I was driving. Oh, Doral. Yeah. All right, we're going to sort this out. Apparently, My man really likes the idea of tractors getting stuck in fields. I see that like over and over on some of his some of the threads where he comments. He just really likes that idea. All right. Well, I don't really like that idea. Got to keep moving, but we'll figure this out. So yeah, you saw what was happening back there. We had 2 wheels in the grass, 2 wheels on the plowed surface, and with the terrain, is it jerk control, terrain control? With the mods that we're running there, plus more realistic, we can get stuck in fields. I like the realism, but sometimes it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So let's see if we can get up this fall line any better. And if not, we're going to have to drive across. We're going to have to drive across our newly... anything? Anything? I mean, it's gonna be slow to get up there, but I think we can do this. Yeah, I don't want to drive across our newly plowed field, even though we are going to cultivate it as well. Oh, stay up on the grass. Stay up on the grass. Yep. And this Brown trailer, as long as we don't hit the tree, we're good. This Brown trailer does have the XML script for more realistic added to it, and we're using Lemkin equipment. We're going to be using a lot of Lemkin equipment. Reason is I was able to find more realistic XMLs for all of those. So I'm really trying to, as much as possible, use implements and tools and trailers that are more realistic compatible, just having seen the difference when we've used ones that are not. Avert your eyes. Not entirely realistic as we flip through these trees. Just look away. Look away. There we go. We made it. So yeah, it does make a huge difference. And again, thank you to the community for pointing that out, because I sort of, I was being a little generous with that. I was being a little creative. I assumed that if we had more realistic running, that was close enough. And then if you had more realistic for a self-propelled vehicle or for a trailer, that was even better. But if you didn't, close enough. And it turns out not close enough at all. So we're going to be really restrictive and only use tools, trailers, and implements that do have more realistic added. All right, so we're going to dump this here and then get this parked up. And you can see over there we've got, you can barely see it in the fog, but we've got 30,000 liters of compost at the top of that field as well. What a great tip, man. I really am appreciative because I haven't done this before. I know this is a thing in real life. I just never did it. Always loaded directly from the farm, from the bunker, or if we bought manure, then loaded it up down at the store. But I never did this, and I guess this is a thing in real life. And there are so many YouTube videos of real farmers doing real farm stuff. Careful around the power pole. We make it beautiful. We'll get right out here. And I really am going to try to drive a little bit more slowly. Drive as I would drive a tractor with a trailer, loaded or empty. All right. We'll leave that gate open because we're heading right back down the lane to pick up our Abbey spreader. And we're going to go back and see what kind of damage we can do in that field. And then, what did I say was after that? JCB, down to the store. Oh, town looks great in the fog with the lights on. It looks like Silent Hill, really. And if it's still... The sun is going to be low on the horizon. It is winter. So the sun won't be... We'll still have some long shadows when we get into town. And the lights will hopefully still be on. Let me see if the lights are on in the farmhouse. That's generally an indicator. If the lights are on one place on the map, they're typically on... Yeah, it looks like some lights are on. We'll see. We'll see when we get down there. We just need to stuff this somewhere for the moment. We'll just dump it in the yard here. As long as there's enough room for the JCB to get out, I think we're okay. Now, I did get this trailer for manure, but we can use it for silage and grass as well. So let's get this backed up right here. Oh, we've got a whole spread of trailers. We got a dually, a Larrington, a West, and now this Brown. I believe all by, well, for 2017 it would be CD models. And then for 19, they are 4D modding. But I think it's the same crew. It's either a crew or a person. But it is the same. It's the same. It's the same, I tell you. All right. One last time. Risking it down the lane. No traffic. But with just a tractor, we can pull over to the side if we do see any traffic. And, all right. See ya. That's how tempting it is. Too many hours spent in race sims. That's how tempting it is to get this thing wound up. Try to be realistic. Also, I find it's a lot easier with this dodgy controller. It's a lot easier to keep the tractors under control when you're not going very, very fast. And you know, I say dodgy controller. It's not dodgy. It's actually just about brand new. But it's been sitting in the back of a closet for over a year. I got it. It didn't do it for me. I decided to go high dollar. And now we're back to this one. So it has very few hours on it. It's not dodgy in that sense. It's just really not very cool compared to the one that I was using. But you know what? So it goes. So it goes. All right. We'll go get this thing picked up. Go a little faster now that we're out on the road. Just not too fast. Not too fast. And I'm going to wait till we're at the compost master. I was tempted to take a look at the clock. But it's tricky enough keeping this thing centered. I don't want to make it even harder for myself. But I think we're going to be okay on time as well. And where do we go from here? I think we still need to plow 3 fields. We're going to need to spread hard manure or compost in 5 fields. Yeah, 5 fields. And then we'll need to cultivate 5 fields. So we've still got plenty to do if we want to be planting something on the first day of spring. And I assume that will be canola. There's no need to look at the seasons menu now because we're a few days away. But we will want to get something in the ground as quickly as possible. Now, that actually brings us to another question. The pig farm is down at the end of Bramble Lane. And we own 3... We bought 3 more fields that are down toward the pig farm, including 2 that are right across the street from the pig farm, right across Bramble Lane. Of the 3 new fields that we bought and the 2 that we converted, for a total of 5, what if we put cash crop in 3 of them? And then of the remaining 2, 1 was a root crop and 1 was corn. And we began to plan ahead. We began to anticipate owning pigs and putting up some food for them. With all the canola that we have in, that can be our, because it's what, canola or sunflower seeds. So we've got plenty of that. We can always plant wheat if we have to. Do pigs eat wheat? I think that may be one of the foods they need to eat. But the main thing is the root crop and the corn. So we could begin planting those crops. Now, we wouldn't plant them early in the spring, so we would still put canola in some of our new fields, either the ones that we converted or the ones that we bought. We would still have canola in there for money, and we do have 2 canola fields currently growing. But you see what I'm getting at? They're so close to the pig farm, and I'll find out the name of it. All the farms on this map have names. I'll find out the name of the pig farm so we can call it proper. But that might be a possibility. That might be something to think about. And unfortunately, based on how things just went, let's just go ahead and loop around and not take a chance on getting stuck again. Save game. So yeah, that is a possibility as well. At that point, we've got 1 dairy, 1 sheep farm, and 1 pig farm. And we will... I feel comfortable saying we will be at the limit of my ability to run this farm solar. It's already getting, even on 1x time, it's already getting a little tight. I'm curious how harvest is going to go. Now, we will have our crops coming in at different times, which sort of cuts both ways, because on the one hand, I just noticed something. I just noticed the rear wheels are turning. What? Oh, no. Do we have, no, that's just the decorative dynamic hose. Oh, that's terrible. That's really terrible. Well, that's not going to work at all. What to do? How far? We're 15 minutes in. Oh, what to do? What to do? Let's... Huh. That's very, very disappointing. I'll take a look off camera to confirm that we did get the right XML in there. Oh, no. Okay, I made a point of converting that over, and apparently it didn't convert properly. Well, I do apologize. How embarrassing. All right, lights off. We're right next to the farm, so we'll just hop in our JCB and sort of pick up where we would have had that spreader worked. Ah, I really am sorry. That is just, that's not cool. Sorry you had to see that. I'm glad I saw it when we did, though, and I'm curious how we got it down to... the... Yeah, I'm positive those wheels were turning on the way down to the Compost Master. Surely I would have seen that. Yeah, at some point between the store and the Compost Master, I would have noticed it if the wheels weren't turning. So that could be because it is now loaded. That could be because those two wheels were in a plowed field. I don't know. I'm not making excuses. I'm looking for an understanding of why that happened. But that is that's not cool. That's very disappointing. And this is a little bit uncool too. The wheels are coming off this episode, fam. This is you seeing these lights? All right. So these are lights off, right? It's like there's a giant overhead light when we turn our lights on. Yeah. All right. Should we cut our losses? It is a Saturday. Maybe I could just stop recording and continue the weekend. No, I want you to see town with this fog and the lights on. Although, clearly not the lights on this tractor. Oh. Hey, you know what? I've always wanted this channel to be an authentic farming experience, a farm sim experience, as it is when I sim farm. And you know what, man? These things happen. So, I guess in a way, I'm glad that you saw that, because we'll sort it out. And some of the... as frustrating as this game can be, it is, in the same way, equally just fun and funny and a good time. What can you do? So we will we'll go pick up our Lemkin. Oh, right. We're going to pass our Ford here. And we'll get that. It is categorized as a plow, right. And it does leave the plow texture. So we'll get that going. Let's park this up right here. I think there's not really a good place to do this. I'm going to be kind of an a-hole neighbor right here. But I've never seen traffic on this lane. And I'm saying that as... I'm saying that in real life. And I'm also saying that as... if we're going to role play it a little bit, that's our lane. Ain't nobody back there. Let's turn these lights on. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. It doesn't throw any overhead light. I knew there was a problem. Alright. Farm sim. Farm sim. Alright, and there is... there's a gate down here. Let's use this gate as our starting point. And I tend to do that with course play, just to keep things simple. We are going to start with lengths first. And we've got a decent chunk of our manure pile on the field. We want to be very, very careful to intervene before course play gets to that headland portion of the course. Reason being, if we drive over that manure, it will consume it, and we really won't get a good value for it. This is field 55. Field 55. We want to go field work. You know what I mean? Let's say that pile is 30,000 liters. If a third of it is over the field, and this plow were to go across it, it would consume 10,000 liters of that manure. I don't even think it would apply to the surface that it covered, but if it did, it would still be a tiny, tiny, tiny little part of the field versus how much we could actually cover with that 10,000 liters. Does that make sense? I hope it did. We don't have any islands to bypass, and then we will generate a course. Where's our starting point? It is up on top of the hill. Cool. Breaks off. Yeah, I think that made sense. Bottom line is I will need to get up there and just interrupt it, pause it, manually drive it around the pile so we don't lose any of our good expensive manure. Fortunately, it looks like it's going to be starting right up by the pile, so that will give us like maximum opportunity to get up here and... Oh, and actually... Well, actually, it's all on the field. So if we drove over that, yeah, we would lose all of it. We would get virtually no benefit from that manure. Okay. Let's just confirm that we're far enough out. Yeah, we are. And that's going to be true of any field that we have manure or compost in. We'll need to be mindful of that. And when I say we, of course I mean me. Alright, so turn that off. Go back here. First waypoint. Drive course. Get to work. There we go. Oh, I'm going to confirm. I gotta tell you what, let's even get this ready. I know it's going to be okay, but let's not waste anything. Alright. That is going to work. Right, so we'll hop out here. And that actually, that works out in our favor because we know now that we have maximum time to get back up there and intervene with that Ford before it does any damage. Beautiful. Alright, on to town. I really like this with the fog, and I'm glad we got to record in this. I think this is one weather that we have not seen so far in Western Shore, and I realized today I'm closing in on 95 hours we've put into this map, which is amazing because we're not even through our first year yet. But we've been kind of slow playing it, really taking our time and trying to play, I wouldn't say as realistically as possible, but trying to find that nice balance of realism and enjoying ourselves. And maybe some of the expansion that we did was a bit hurried, right? We didn't need to expand as far as we did, as soon as we did. Oh, look at this with the lighting and the fog. Oh, it's beautiful. It does have that Silent Hill look to it, though. Does it not? Am I crazy? Am I wrong? Yeah. I don't know. I think it does. So, yeah, maybe we expanded a bit too soon and a bit too far. But it's a game. It's a video game. You're supposed to have fun with it. Are you not? And I did find, in the more realistic database, I did find files for just about every piece of Lemkin kit we had, including that big, is it the Azurit cedar? I did find one for that, and there were several that we had. I'm going to back in here. There were several that we had that I did not find MR files for, and I just went ahead and deleted those. I will do the same thing with that Abbey. I was really under the impression that we had sorted that out. If we have not, I will unfortunately have to delete that Abbey spreader. I don't want to, but let's line this up just a little better. Right there. Oh, beautiful. All right. Carefully back to the farm. We'll be out on time. 24 minutes is perfect. And this will, where can this go? This will go probably in that field where the Ford is working right now. Reason being, that will be, yeah, that will probably be the field that we spread manure in first. And you get the hard manure mod buff. You get that if you plow or cultivate or subsoil. So even though we have manure and we could spread it and then plow, we're going to plow. Then we're going to spread manure, then we'll cultivate, and when we do, we'll get the buff. So we're okay. And that field is also one of the closer ones. Let me think about this now. Okay, we'll go back down the lane, the little cutoff lane. When we get to the bottom of the hill, we'll take a left instead of a right. We would take a right to get to Bramble Lane. We'll take a left, and that will take us to the field where the Ford is working. And I definitely want to get in there before I forget, because I will. I'll go start messing with that Abbey spreader, and I'll forget all about that Ford and come back, and there'll be 30,000 liters of manure magically disappeared. Yeah, I think the way it works is if you just dump manure on a field, you get 0 application. It only counts as fertilizer if you put it on the field with some type of spreader. So I think even if we plowed that under, I mean, I know it would just be a tiny, tiny area of field, but I believe if we plowed that under, it would simply disappear. It's like if you have straw on a field, or grass or anything else, and you plow over it, it just goes away. So, alright. And there's our Ford working away. God, I do love this map. It's a good looking map, man. It really, really is. It's a masterpiece. Alright. So bottom of the hill. Left turn. And then, yeah, sort out the Abbey. And I guess off camera I'll have to open up this JCB and Giants editor. It looks to me like there's just a misplaced kind of omnidirectional light above it. But I'll take a look. I can sort of find my way around GE. I can do basic stuff. Can't do a ton. Carefully. Carefully. Beautiful. Right through there. And here's our gate. Where are we at on time? 28 minutes. It all worked out. It's fantastic. Right in here. There's a little wide spot on the verge. Beautiful. Oh, that's lovely. With the shadows. I love it. All right. Hop out here. Turn this off. That's probably your screenshot. There you have it, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 17. This is the Western Shore. We'll see you next time. Take care now.